Have you ever had that feeling? That persistent, quiet hum beneath the noise of everyday life, whispering that something is fundamentally wrong with reality. It's not paranoia. It's not dissatisfaction. It is a signal, a faint distress call from a deeper part of you, alerting you that the world you perceive is not the world as it is. You feel like a character trapped in a story someone else wrote, bound by rules you never agreed to. But what if I told you the prison isn't around you but within you, and that the architect of this prison is also you? In the early 20th century, a man named Neville Goddard, a visionary thinker and spiritual teacher, presented a radical blueprint of reality. He didn't speak of technological simulations or alien overlords. He spoke of something far more intimate and powerful, a mental simulation built entirely from the architecture of our own beliefs. He argued that we are not victims of a random, chaotic universe. We are the unconscious creators of our own suffering, our own limitations, our own scarcity. We live in a self-imposed exile from our own power. The escape, he taught, isn't about fleeing to another place. It's about waking up right here, right now, to the true nature of who you are. Our senses tell us a very convincing story. They show us a world of solid objects, of length, width, and depth. A world governed by a relentless, forward-marching arrow we call time. This is the three-dimensional reality we are taught to accept without question. But this, according to Goddard, is like an ant navigating a vast, intricate painting, only ever seeing the single line of pigment directly beneath its feet. It knows forward, backward, left, and right. It has no concept of the third dimension of height, no awareness of the artist's hand, no understanding that the entire masterpiece exists all at once. We are that ant. The dimension we are missing is the fourth dimension. And what is this mysterious fourth dimension? It isn't another spatial direction like in science fiction. It is the vast, infinite landscape of consciousness itself. It is the realm of your imagination. Think about it. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine a place you've never been, where does that scene unfold? It's not in your physical brain, which is just another three-dimensional object in the world. That experience, that vivid sensory reality, is happening in the fourth dimension. This is the profound secret. The physical world you see, feel, and touch is not the cause of your experience. It is the effect. It is a shadow cast by events that first take place in the dimension of your imagination. We are taught to dismiss our imagination as daydreaming or fantasy, a fanciful escape from the real world. This is the greatest deception we have ever accepted. Goddard taught that imagination is the one and only reality. It is the workshop of God, the creative studio where all possible worlds, all potential timelines, and all versions of yourself already exist, complete and finished. Sickness and health, poverty and wealth, loneliness and love, these are not states you must work towards or struggle to achieve. They are finished creations, different coordinates in the fourth dimension, coexisting simultaneously in this eternal moment. Your three-dimensional life is like being trapped on a single page of an infinite book, forgetting that the entire library is at your command. You are not moving through time to get from one state to another. You are simply shifting your focus, your conscious awareness from one finished reality to another. So if this is true, why do we feel so stuck? Why does reality feel so solid, so unchangeable? Goddard identified a force that operates on our consciousness just as gravity operates on physical objects. Let's call it psychological gravity. Every absolute certainty you hold, every belief you accept as unshakable truth, adds mass to your psychological being. I have to work hard to earn money. The past defines who I am. You can't change people. Love is hard to find. Each one of these is a gravitational anchor, tethering your consciousness to the flat, predictable plane of three-dimensional thinking. Social conditioning is the great accelerator of this process. When millions of people collectively believe something is impossible, they create a gravitational field so dense that even questioning it feels like an act of rebellion. The visionaries, the innovators, the mystics throughout history often worked in isolation, not because they were outcasts, but because they had to escape this crushing collective weight to access possibilities others couldn't even dream of. A child has not yet accumulated this weight. They can imagine being a superhero and for a moment genuinely feel the sensation of flight. They have accessed a coordinate in the fourth dimension where they can fly. The adult, burdened by the heavy knowledge of biology and physics, has lost access to that coordinate. Their education, ironically, has become the very bars of their prison. This weight accumulates most heavily around the core pillars of human experience: health, wealth, and love. We carry psychological tons of inherited truths about them. Sickness runs in my family. Money is the root of all evil. I'm just not lucky in love. Each of these certainties acts like a miniature black hole, warping the psychological space around you, pulling all your experiences into a predictable, inescapable orbit. Escaping this gravity isn't about fighting reality. It is about developing mental lightness. It is a deliberate process of loosening your grip on your certainties. It's the subtle but powerful shift from saying, "This is how it is," to asking, "This is how I am currently choosing to perceive it. What else is possible?" When you understand this, you begin to float. You stop carrying the unnecessary baggage of consensual limitations. The people who manifest the so-called impossible are not defying the laws of nature. They are simply operating with a reduced psychological gravity. They refuse to accept the weight of what others have deemed impossible, and in their lightness, they drift effortlessly into realities that are inaccessible to the anchored mind. This is the second key, the conscious modulation of your own psychological density. You learn to walk in the three-dimensional world, appearing to obey its rules, while inwardly you are untethered, floating freely between infinite possibilities. So how do we begin to see through the walls of this prison? The practice begins with what we could call dimensional transparency. Imagine you are inside a cube. The walls are your beliefs about the past and future. The ceiling is your concept of what is possible, and the floor is what you accept as unchangeable fact. In 3D thinking, these surfaces are solid, opaque barriers. But in the fourth dimension, you are already, right now, both inside and outside of this cube. The walls only exist because you keep staring at them. Let's start with the wall of the past. For most of us, the past is a solid, concrete structure behind us. It dictates who we are, what we're capable of, and what we deserve. But from a four-dimensional perspective, the past is not a fixed monument. It is a coordinate on a vast, flexible surface. You do not change the events, but you can change your dimensional relationship to them. Imagine time as a sheet of paper. The 3D thinker walks laboriously from one point to another, dragging the weight of every previous step. The 4D thinker simply folds the paper, bringing the end point to touch the beginning, instantly. This is the secret behind Goddard's most revolutionary technique, living from the end. You do not think asterisk of asterisk your desire, which places it in the future, separate from you. You think from asterisk your desire. You access the emotional state, the feeling, of your wish already fulfilled. Someone who wants to be prosperous doesn't just visualize wealth. They access the 4D coordinates of prosperity now. They walk, talk, and think from the state of being the person who already has it. They fold the time between their current situation and their desired one until the two become one. This isn't positive thinking. Positive thinking is standing in a prison cell, trying to convince yourself how beautiful the bars are. This is a literal change of your temporal coordinates. Your physical body may still be in the same location, but your consciousness, the real you, is operating from a completely different point in time-space. A painful memory or a past failure seems to hold power over you only because you keep it connected to your present through the rigid, inflexible line of 3D time. But when you fold time, you can bring your present moment to touch any other point on the map, completely bypassing the traumatic coordinate. It still exists on the sheet, but it loses all causal power over your current experience. You do not need to heal or fix the past. You simply choose to inhabit a timeline where its influence is irrelevant. This requires discipline. Every time the mind says, "I am this way because of what happened," you must recognize that as 3D navigation. Then you deliberately fold time. You access the state where that cause and effect chain no longer exists. You inhabit the reality of your choice, not by historical permission, but by divine authority. People who make miraculous recoveries or achieve impossible success operate this way instinctively. They are not fighting their past. They are rendering it obsolete by inhabiting a future where it never had power. They are living in two times at once. And this is the supreme secret, the ability to exist at multiple temporal coordinates simultaneously. You maintain your functional awareness in the three-dimensional present, going about your day, while in the fourth dimension, in your imagination, you are fully and completely inhabiting your chosen future. This isn't dimensional tourism, where you briefly visit a pleasant thought and then return to your unsatisfactory reality. It is dimensional habitation. You live there. You sleep in the bed of your answered prayer. You walk the halls of your fulfilled ambition. You feel the warmth of the love you desire as a present fact. This dual habitation creates a powerful tension in the fabric of reality. The three-dimensional world of shadows must eventually conform to the four-dimensional reality your consciousness is occupying. The time lag between your inner habitation and its outer manifestation is simply the natural interval required for the physical elements to rearrange themselves to reflect your new state. You are not attracting the future to you. You are expanding your present to include it. Ultimately, the final awakening is the realization that you are not just changing your state within one world. You are changing worlds entirely. Each state of consciousness, Goddard revealed, is a complete, self-contained parallel universe. The person who is depressed and the person who is joyful are not two people in the same world with different moods. They are in two completely different universes, where the very physics of possibility operate differently. In the universe of depression, obstacles are solid and opportunities are scarce. In the universe of joy, solutions appear effortlessly, and synchronicities are the norm. We are jumping between these parallel universes billions of times a day with every subtle shift in our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs, all while being hypnotized by the illusion of a single, continuous world. Each thought is a dimensional coordinate. Each feeling is a universal address. When you grasp this, you stop trying to fix your current world. You simply choose a different one. The person in debt does not need to solve their debt problem within the universe of scarcity. They can shift to the universe of abundance, where a solution exists that was impossible in the previous world. The past itself reorganizes to support the new present. A new history, a new chain of cause and effect, forms retroactively the moment you make the dimensional jump. You are not the universe you inhabit. You are the traveler, the conscious navigator. The fear of leaving the familiar, even a familiar pain, is what keeps us anchored to a single world. But your true identity is not the scenery. It is the awareness that perceives the scenery. True freedom is the realization that you have a passport to an infinite number of realities. You are not a character trapped in the script. You are the author. This is the great escape, not from the world but from a limited perception of it. It begins by questioning the solidity of your reality. It continues by developing mental lightness, releasing the gravitational pull of your certainties. You learn to fold time, to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and you awaken to your true role as the conscious navigator of infinite worlds. You have always had this power. You have simply forgotten. The door to your prison has never been locked. It opens inward, and now you hold the key.